Hello everyone, welcome to Educational Channel and this is Srinand. Today we are going to talk about the Tiger of Mysore, the Tiger of the Deccan and it's Hyder Ali. You see, in the 16th to 17th century, many empires in the Deccan region were defeated by the East India Company because the East India Company from England, they arrived in Calicut and they started to trade and then they started to invade, correct? So they destroyed many empires and they had some mercenaries and there were some prisoners of war and there were very little soldiers who were free. Who were free means they were alive from the wars and they were escaping or hiding from the British. These soldiers were scared of the British. But one soldier was not like the rest of them. And that soldier was Hyder Ali. And he wanted to get his empire back. So he has to get a number of arms and ammunition and mainly an army. Where can he get that? So as the remaining soldiers were scared of the East India Company, they didn't want to help him. They didn't want to risk their lives. So there were other European powers who wanted to gain control of India trading centers. So one of them was the most powerful after the East India Company was the French. The French people wanted to get rid of these people, the East India Company, and they didn't want to invade India. So it leaves him with an option for asking help with the French, correct? So he asked help with the French. He asked arms, ammunitions, and he asked just a few hundred people. We might think that how can a few hundred people, just a few hundred people, help him to fight the mighty East India Company? You see, he was helpless, but he had some help from the French. And he attacked the British in Delhi itself. And he was able to penetrate all the armor forces of the British. And there was no death toll on his army. A tiger, really, correct? Okay. After that, he signed a treaty with the British saying that he can get his empire back and if he doesn't have an heir or a male heir, then the empire goes back to the British Empire or the East India Company. He also agreed for that. And he ruled peacefully for the rest of his life. After that, his son, Tipu Sultan, as we all know, he also took over some territories, but not from the East India Company because of the treaty. Okay, and he used a special type of metal and that was used in his ammunitions and arms. And that steel was known as Wood's steel. And that wood steel, that particular steel, was made only in India by only rare iron smelters in his kingdom. Whoa, sounds very rare, correct? Yeah, it is very rare. And he cultivated indigo, the blue indigo for Europe. Why? He wanted to have friendly relationships with all European countries, all of the countries, even in America. Why? Because he wanted help from other countries to invade his territory itself. Not his territory. His territory means the subcontinent, the whole subcontinent. Okay, but he traded in terms of money and not with ammunition. And that was one mistake. It's okay. And he tried to invade the British, but he was not as worthy or as strong as Hyder Ali, and he was defeated. And the empire was also taken from him. Okay, then what happened to the iron smelters and indigo cultivators? You see, this iron, this steel is very rare, correct? So nothing can destroy it according to them, because in those days there was nothing which can destroy it. So they thought that if this wood steel goes to the hands of British, they will be like impenetrable, like impossible to defeat. Okay, now about the indigo. They stopped cultivating indigo, but some people, some private businessmen were forced to cultivate indigo for Europe and other parts of India. But the British itself, they told that stop cultivating indigo. You can cultivate for the British Empire and you will get a lot of money. And as they promised, the indigo cultivators got a lot of money and wood steel perished. Now, what happened to the iron smelters? So the iron smelters, they migrated to different parts of India, and even today there are 1 in a million people. Like if there are 1 billion, then there might be only a few, just single digit numbers in India making that wood steel. And indigo is there all over the world because of many foreign cruel businessmen, because they tortured the indigo cultivators and they asked for the plant. So very cruel, right? But it's okay. Past is past. Thank you. Make sure you like and subscribe